Welcome to 3D.sk, human photo reference for 3D artists and game developers. On this site you can find thousands of images, from studio photo reference to street photo reference. We also have a selection of animals on our site. We have some costumes, we have weapons, armor. We also have 3D scans of bodies and heads, clothing, animals, all the aforementioned above, and 3D maps and textures. Check out the latest on 3D.sk. Some of our latest content is a monkey whole set. We also have some new texture sets which you can use, some pre-made textures which you can put onto your model. We also have a new costume that you can get. We also have some new models that we've recently taken full pictures of. And premium members can download all future updates immediately. You'll be the first to get future updates if you are a premium member. Also, there is premium content such as the monkey, some of these textures, and some costumes. Standard members will get updates a bit later, but will not be able to access premium content. Thanks. Onto the video. Welcome to the next part of the tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be carrying on from the last one when we were doing the mouth. And we're just going to be doing the nose a little bit. The nose is quite unsymmetrical compared to the other parts, but there's a few techniques for doing the nose, but what I'm going to start off by doing is just going to the mouth topology. Getting this area. Moving it up. Obviously we need to reactivate our polydraw. Let's go to conform, we can conform it there. Then we can use our extend tool. Hold shift, and then hold control, shift and alt to move around vertexes. And what we're basically doing here is we're just moving it around in a circle, kind of creating a loop for the nose. I'm going to match it with the topology over here. And the good thing about this is it's already conforming it before you don't need to reconform it again, if you know what I mean. We're just creating a simple circle around, trying to follow the amount of line segments that the other pieces have. You don't actually have to retopologize every model you've done. Once you have done one model, you can go in and you can use something called ZWrap or R3, I think it's called R3DS. And you can use a skin wrap to copy the topology from one model to another one. So we'll be doing that in the next tutorial, showing you how to do that. Because once we've done the nose, you have the main areas, and then all it is just connecting everything up and doing the back of the head and all the other areas. So go in here and let's start creating this shape that I want to create. I want to actually start attaching this now. Just attach this to here. Just gonna go isolate selection just for a sec, just to see what's going on here. Okay, I kind of want to create another loop or another segment on these areas that I'm clicking on now. I can ring them, connect, and then connect only one segment, and that just gives me a little bit more topology to work with. Okay, now we can go to our drag tool, kind of drag these around a little bit. You can even start target welding this now. There's another way to do this in polydraw. It's optimize. You hold shift, and then that'll just move the vertexes and weld them together. Let me just press Ctrl X. Sometimes it can be quite hard to see, so you can just go on hide. And go back to our optimize, and we can just hold shift, move that down there, and move that down there. Now we've got a massive gap here right now, but that doesn't concern me that much. What I do want to do is I kind of want to move all these vertexes, so I can just go hold shift and turn on my full strength, shift and control, and I can just kind of move these more where I actually want them. Kind of decided against going underneath the chin and kind of putting them more kind of up here. Doesn't matter if it's perfect right now, you can always change it later. You can go to drag right now, and you can just kind of move them a bit more into place. That's much better. Okay, we can also add a connect here if we wanted to. Not sure if we want to do that just yet. Hide unselected. Remember, even though you've got stuff hidden, you can still move the vertexes and still conform, even though the object isn't visible, which can be helpful sometimes. I don't like this so much, but I guess it'll do for now. Okay, so moving on. Now let's unhide all again. Go to this, hide unselected, just so we hide the hair and all the other pieces that we don't really need to see right now. I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to create a bridge here and create 2 segments. Sometimes going into F3 can help a little bit. So with bridge, it's 3 if I want it like this. Then you should be able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to target weld this to here and this to here. I'm going to go on polydraw and drag these around. As soon as you press that draw on, it doesn't matter what view you're in or if anything's visible, it's going to draw on that object unless you delete either the object you're drawing on or the other one. So just make sure that this is kind of lining up with this. That should be fine. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to select these vertexes and just give it a tiny bit of a relax, maybe grow the selection a little bit more. Just a tiny bit, just to help it out. Okay, let's get this edge. Deselect all the edges around here and here. You can actually go to polydraw here and go to extend. And this is basically just going to extend all the way forward. Now I'm going to get those last edges and I'm going to make them planar along one of the axes. Eventually we'll work it out. Alright, the y-axis seems to be not the one. I was sure it was the x, but for some reason I'm mistaken. It should be planar along the x. Which is just not doing. Strange. Let me just do that and go to vertex mode. Try it now. Okay, that seems to have worked. For some reason it's on the wrong axis. We might just need to put a reset Xform on this later. Okay, so let's go to polydraw, drag, Things like this I prefer to drag, otherwise the conform tool seems to do, kind of has a mind of its own and does its own stuff. So just dragging this is usually the best idea. Now you do want these edges to not be on the edge of this, because we're going to make another loop here. Okay, so we're going to now use this version of target world. Hide unselected, and then apparently we need another edge loop in here. There's many ways that some people prefer to do topology in certain ways. These are just some of my methods that I prefer to use. Sometimes in various projects I'll use different topology just because I preferred using it that time, and it just made more sense for that. Anyway, what I'm going to do here, deselect that. I'm just going to grow this out a little bit. I use the relax tool function quite a bit when I'm sculpting. I mean, not sculpting, when I'm retopologizing. Just to help me out, because technically when you're doing retopology, all these squares, 4-pointed edges or 4-pointed shapes should be square, each of them. But that's not always possible. But if you use the relax tool, it can get you in the right direction, at least. Let's unhide all again. Okay, now I'm going to go to this tool. I'm going to get this edge and this edge. It's going to unhide all again, or hide unselected. I actually want there to be more topology here, so I'm just going to add another one in here. You could even go to this, but there's a problem there, which you've just seen. I'm going to get this, and I'm just going to scale it inwards. Then once I've scaled it inwards, I'm going to move it a little bit over here. I'm going to turn on F3. And start dragging these around. This is supposed to form the shape of, I guess, the inner nostril. That's why actually you don't want this one to be connected. And you would actually want an extra edge loop here. Yes. Just going into this mode and just kind of moving them into a place where I can see them a bit better can be helpful. So I think also here is another place where I don't want any topology. Yeah, it is. Just going to bridge these. Obviously move this back a little bit first. And this is going to create this kind of shape. Another loop inside a loop, you can say. Also means we need another connect here. Actually, we don't need it, because we can actually just do this. Just target weld that. Use our drag tool to drag these into place. Not sure what this vertex is doing. Seems to not want to do what I'm telling it to do. Okay, that's a bit better. So we can see from this that obviously we're going to need some more edge loops here. Move these along a little bit. Okay, now it's starting to take shape a bit better. Then what I can do is I can move this kind of up and in. Should be around the shape of the nostril. Okay, you can go to Topology or Conform. This is going to conform quite weird at first, but we'll be able to sort it out. Remember, you can also use the Relax as a conform brush. So if I just do that a little bit here, you're going to see that's going to fix up that. Just don't do it near edges, as that can cause problems. You just want to kind of touch with it a little bit like that, and it should help. Especially in areas like this, just kind of use it a little bit, and it's going to give you a hand. Now if we hide, we can see that we've got some decent topology going on now. Some nose topology, and I'm going to say that I'm fairly happy with that. Apart from we do need to get this lined up better. So apparently, I just don't know what this is doing. Let me try doing something that usually fixes most problems, which is reset Xform, collapse all. The axes are just completely messed up. Let's try it now, and that's fixed the problem. I thought that was the problem. Usually when you combine many objects, the Xform, which is a bounding box around it, which tells the program what axes and what size it is. Basically the three rotations, or the three ways of moving around an object, scaling, rotation, and moving, are all just off kilter and just completely crazy. But doing this will generally fix it. Obviously our mesh is not completely symmetrical, which could cause a problem later. I did not actually notice this before, but is our mesh not in the center? Because it's saying that the center is here, which I guess could be true. But I guess we'll sort that out later. But for now, this topology is almost done. Before moving on to the other techniques, or the skin wrap technique, what we can do is I can just show you what you need to do at these areas. So at these areas like this, you can see that you've got a little bit of a problem. So there's a few ways to resolve this. The first way would be just to get two of these edges and bridge it. And then what that's going to create is a shape that now you can follow along with. They're called pressure points or something along the lines of that. That basically, why is my target world working? Well, stars, that's what they're called. You'll create these stars, and these are like points that you use to navigate your mesh better. They're still quads, and what I usually like to do on these stars is give them a bit of a strong relax. I use Polydraw, Conform, and you'll be using these stars quite a lot across your model to change directions of loops. So you can see that this loop is going like this, and then this loop is going to go kind of like the mouth would go, but now it's going to go up into here instead of round to here. Same here on the noseable fold. I think you say it like that. If you bridge here, you're going to get another area where you can now bridge to here and create another star. And this is where the kind of, I guess, art of topology, you could say, comes in, where you have to decide where you want your topology to be. Now, you may not want your topology there, you might want it completely different. So instead of that, you could go more of an approach like so. Then you could do this. Which is almost the same, but it's actually quite different because it's going to change the direction of your loops. So now this loop instead is going like this now. And it just depends which way you want to take them. So in the next episode, now that I've shown you how to do the main features, I'm going to be doing a skin wrap, which is an easy way if you've already got some topology. Obviously, I have got another topology tutorial on this YouTube site that goes more in depth of how to do topology for the face, and that would be in the first series that I created. So that will show you how to do the rest of the topology, but just wanted to go a bit more in detail in this one. But we'll be using the skin wrap in the next one, and I'll be going over the topology ideas that I did in that, which was done in my own time. And we'll be projecting the topology from one mesh to another, which is a very important way of cleaning up 3D scan data and not wasting too much time on retopology. So I'll see you then. Thanks. Welcome to the end of this tutorial. Feel free to comment with feedback and suggestions below, and also comment on what you would like to see in future videos. Thanks and goodbye.